Cool. The school of trading is repetition. Okay. You need to repeat the same cycle over and 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 over again until you get to a space where you feel that you're very comfortable with how you're achieving your results. Okay. So if you're new on this call right now and some of this stuff is just going over your head, that's absolutely fine because you haven't started your repetition yet. You haven't started your trial and errors yet. Your failures and your mishaps and your losses. You haven't done all of that yet. That comes along the journey. Okay, that comes along the journey. So if there's some information on here that I'm going to show you right now, especially on the charts, that you don't quite get, it's okay. It's really okay. I personally myself was once there as well. I've been in this trading space now coming up to a decade. I was once there as well. Okay. So the reason why I'm saying that to you is because as I speak to more and more and more and more people, the questions that I get are more around microwave type results. Microwave type results. You buy a packet of something, right? And it says 15 minutes in the oven, but 3 minutes in the microwave, right? Right. Now, yeah, they're both going to be hot, but when you put that in the oven, it's going to taste different, right? It's going to taste different. It's opposed to putting in the microwave, right? So I really want to say this is that guys, you need to be here the long term, the long haul of what we're doing. 12 to 18 months is a minimum requirement for you to start seeing some massive, consistent results in this space. And second of all, if you are not taking action, you cannot blame trading. Okay. You need to take action. Guys, I need you guys to drop action in the chat room. Capitals, capitals, because you guys promised me that you were going to take action last week. Now, not all of us was in Houston. Did you take trades? I needed every one of us on that call to take trades. So you need to take action for this to work. Okay. Unless you're using the Omni app where it's just taking trades for you, you still need to take action anyway because you still need to hook it up. You still need to hook up your broker and your risk and all that sort of stuff. But if you really, really want to learn this skill set and you really want to be involved in making, 3 figures a day, 4 figures a day, and so on and so on, you need to take action. That's my key word for the rest of 2025. When someone says anything to me about how this is not what I'm going to say, did you take action? Did you take action? Because if you didn't, it ain't gonna work. Absolutely. And mine were positive trades and only one negative trade. That's what I'm talking about, Helen. That's what I'm talking about. You got to take action. I love when I see results in the chat. I don't care if you've made a million. I don't care as long as you've made it because you are then also a great representation of what we are doing as a collective. Okay. Some of us are shining light bulbs right now, shining light for everyone else to go towards, and then they become the shining light for everyone else to go towards them as well. Okay, but you've got to take action in the first and foremost to make sure that happens. So look, let's look at some charts very, very quickly. Let's look at some charts very, very, very quickly, and we've seen some interesting stuff happen. Okay, we've seen some interesting stuff happen. I'm not going to go over too much about the news and stuff. We had a lot of news over the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to go over that because you guys are supposed to be checking that yourself on a day-to-day basis. Okay. But what I am going to go through is just some of the trades that were available to us, some of the trades that we looked at, especially like gold as well. Gold was a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal trade. Even if we didn't really catch it from the beginning, it was still a phenomenal trade and worked out in the end. So let's just start off with gold. Let's just start off with gold. Um, if you remember 2 weeks ago, me and Silver Surfer were going over this gold trade. And what I did, I didn't actually take this trade with Pops's strategy. I took this trade based on how I saw the charts. But when I lined it up with Pops's strategy, it fit so perfect that a newbie could have taken this trade just following the strategy. Okay, a newbie could have taken this trade which is, it crosses over here, the line changes from red to green. You got this little chevron, sorry, and then obviously the engulfing candle and so on and so on. And the trade is absolutely just magical because it hit TP, smashed it out of the park, right? And that's a lot of pips there. That's a lot of pips. And as the trade starts to complete itself, what you're doing now, you're just reducing your SL. You're putting it at entry first and foremost. Then you're moving your SL up, moving the SL up, moving the SL up. And then as you can see, it hit TP as well. Now, remember what I said to you guys. I am a zone to zone trader. Okay. I'm a zone to zone trader. I don't care about what's going on in here, the dips and all that sort of stuff. I'm not concerned with that. I'm letting it do its thing, right? I'm a oven bake. I'm an oven bake trader, right? I'm an oven bake trader. I don't want to do the microwave stuff. I don't need I'm in the 3 minutes and the center of the food is still cold, right? I want to see the long term. I want to push the buttons because one of the things that I personally don't like to do is keep watching my trades over and over and over and over and over and over. And I've been there, and you're more than likely going to do the same because you want to see how the trade is going to work. You want to find out how the mechanisms works and so on and so on. But as you get a bit more mature in your trading journey, you want to just press the button and leave it, right? And come back and hit TP. You see a couple of £100 in your account. That's all you want to do, guys, because at the end of the day, trading itself can be a little bit of a stressful journey. So to how to mitigate some of that stress, to reduce some of that stress, is to not watch it on a minute to minute basis. You just come back and check it every hour or so, every 2 hours, and see your money building up in your account, right? So gold was one of the good trades that we had. Now there's a few trades that I posted in the group um, that have been really decent profit right now. I'm just gonna just check to which ones I can go over with you guys. And if there's any charts that you want me to look at whilst we're on here, I'm more than happy to do that as well. We're going to try and finish on an hour, so those who want to get onto maybe Nikki's session, you can as well. Boom, boom, boom. So let me come out of this. Okay, so we've got AUD USD. Let's have a look at AUD USD. Okay, so AUD USD is a really a quite a mechanical trade, if I can be completely honest. And the reason why I say it's mechanical trade, because I was only looking for one or two things. I was only looking for support and resistance zones on this trade, right? And how I got my zones was actually quite far back. But the reason why I went quite far back because I really wanted to see where the last congestion zones were, which was right here. So I figured out they would be right here as well, right? So this was a support and resistance trade. Now, there's a reason why I'm telling you this because support and resistance trading is one of the most basic, easiest ways to figure out where you believe the market is going to go. Okay, before you put on your MA, your RSI, your MACD, stochastic, and all of that stuff there, please remember, trading works from zone to zone. Don't worry about the noise in between. It still works from zone to zone. There is a daily zone. There is a monthly zone. There is a weekly zone. There is a 15-minute zone. It still works from zone to zone. Okay. What we do with the indicators is to see if our thought process is in confluence with everything else that we believe is going to help us take this trade. Okay. So we want to make sure that, the RSI is agreeing with us. We want to make sure that the moving average is agreeing with us and so on and so on. But this one was really a mechanical trade. And I looked at this zone right here. Okay. This was the last zone before it broke a zone and then came down. Now this is really fundamental. When you see something like this, I'm gonna just draw it out very very quickly. When you see something like this, okay, it is something that is very very fundamental in trading. When you see this, okay, when you see it breaking a zone, and then breaking off, okay, and then maybe retesting it again, come down, retesting it again, come down, fake out, come down, retest again, and so on and so on. And then it makes its way to the downside. When you see this sort of price action, it's very, very fundamental. especially if you're not someone that can read candles right now. Don't worry about that too much. Just worry about the pattern. The patterns that you see can help you to form a support and resistance zone. Okay. If you're new on here, don't worry if you don't understand everything that I'm talking about right now. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because I don't want to keep telling you the basic stuff. Okay. I want to tell you stuff that you can literally take away from this call right now, and you can take action and say, let me just do what Jay was doing on that call when he said the support and resistance. Okay, so what's the support? The support is the floor of the trade, the bottom part of the trade. Where's the resistance? The resistance is at the top of the trade, the ceiling of the trade. You can actually do that by just drawing zones. Okay, now how I used to do my support and resistance before, I used to actually do it like this. I used to put one line like this. Okay, I used to put one line like this. Excuse me. Until I became a little bit more mature, excuse me, in my trading journey, and I realized that the market doesn't necessarily move dead on. Okay, it doesn't necessarily move dead on. It will fluctuate between a certain zone. Okay, so my floors and my ceilings became bigger zones where I was allowing the market to breathe. Okay, I was allowing the market to breathe. So I saw this as a turncoat. A turncoat basically is where you see the market break a zone, retest that zone, okay, and then dance around that zone, as you can see just there. It's very similar to what I just drew not too long ago, right? And then look, we had the breakdown. Okay, we had the breakdown. So this is why I'm saying it's quite a mechanical move in terms of what I'm seeing that the market is going to do right now. Okay, so that was then. Now, as we come present to today, we see that the market has hit that zone once again. Okay, so let's just do it here. So we come down, come back up, hit this zone, hit here, hit this zone. Once again, bam, 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 and then come back up to this zone here now. And then what we're looking for is the bigger drop right back down to this zone again. Now, if we're lucky, we might see it break through that zone, come down and then come down further. The likeliness of that, especially where news is at the moment, is probably unlikely. But this was a great trade because it wasn't likely to break this zone. This is a retest of this zone. Okay. So we had some really good profit on this. Guys, there is a lot of information in the academy in terms of what I'm explaining. I'm giving you the shorthand version, the layman terms version, because we don't have much time. But if you go through the academy, a lot of the information I'm sharing with you right now, you're going to see the educators break it down so beautifully that you're going to get this work. You're going to get this information, this knowledge. Okay. Another trade that we had, that we had that was great, which was USD CAD. So let's look at USD CAD. USD CAD, I'm currently in 4 figures on USD CAD, because this is a great trade. Okay, this is a great trade. Once again, this is a bit of a mechanical trade, but if we were to apply Pops's strategy to it, I'm not sure how powerful this is in terms of I don't need to be a great educator or a great trader to be able to use this particular strategy. Because if you look here, right, you've got the chevron here, okay, right here, and then it dropped down, and then we're in the trade, okay. So we've been in this trade for a long period of time. Now the trade has taken a bit of a. I wanted the trade to come right down to here. Okay, I believe that the trade was going to come down to here, but as you can see, the trade is actually pulled back. Okay, the trade is actually pulled back. So I've got a choice here now. I can say to myself, well, do I exit with a 4 figure trade, or do I believe that this is going to drop down further and give it the room to breathe? Now remember, I'm a zone to zone trader. Okay, but I'm not stupid. Okay. If someone's handing me £1,000 and says, look, you can take this, or you can wait and see if I come back tomorrow with another thousand, I'll just say, give me the 1,000, man. Like this, nothing's guaranteed, right? So just give me the 1,000, okay? So I may exit this trade on 4 figures, just basically just using, look, guys, this strategy, that is it. I just I didn't even have to use a strategy, but it lines up so perfectly. And there's a reason why I'm showing you this is because you do not need to be a phenomenal, this guru of trading. You can just use this strategy whilst you're learning along the way. Remember, be here 12 to 18 months to be able to really, really, really learn and grasp the aspects of trading, not from just a mechanical standpoint, but also from an emotional standpoint as well. Okay, a psychological standpoint. So you could have taken this trade as well. This would have given you great profit. Let's just say we took it down to where this consolidation zone is. Let's see how much pips that will be. So let's say we just took it from here to roughly around here. So still, you're capping out at whoa, is that under 400 pips? You're capping out at 400 pips, guys. That's a lot of pips. That's a lot of pips to be taken. All right, let me just see something here. Let me just check something. Let's see what the ratio is. So the total profit gain on this particular trade, if it goes to where I need it to go, is going to be 607 pips. 600 pips? Guys, if you say to any trader, listen, I just capped 600 pips on a great lot size, they're going to give you a round of applause. Okay? Because this is the type of trade that most people might not stay in. You might just cap your little 30 pips, 40 pips, and then you're out, right? But this 600 pips is a big boy league with this kind of pippage. And it takes time. It does take time. Okay? So they're the charts that I just really wanted to go through with you. I'm going to check the chat right now. Is there any charts that you guys want me to have a look at right now? Let me go to the chat. I didn't open up the chat for a bit. Let's just see. Um, yeah, Bloomsburg, definitely. Um, is there any charts that you guys, it's from my list that you can see on the screen on the right hand side, is there anything that you want me to go through whilst we're on this call? And we'll look at it fresh, and we'll get a fresh perspective on it. Is there anything, except for silver, obviously, because the main guy for silver is on the call, right? I ain't trying to step into that shadow.
Oh, you know what? I was actually going to recommend maybe you could actually take a look at it and see what your analysis was on it as well, just to show that like it's not necessarily just myself that can do it. We all can do it. We might look at it in different ways, but uh, it's probably the same thing and see what's happened. Because I know obviously I mentioned as well that TP1 hit and show that it hit, but maybe you can show the analysis of that and and whatnot from there. You want to have a look at that one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what do you want. Someone's put BTC as well, yeah? So we can do BTC as well. So let's look at silver. So XAG USD. Okay, cool. So here for silver, I didn't cap out on this trade. I hit SL on this trade. Um, no, I didn't take this trade. I didn't take it. I was lucky as well. I didn't take it.
Yeah, it
So
it did hit TP1. It activated, hit TP1 quick time, and it pulled back up.
and
As
it
you can
pulled
see,
back up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this trade here is for me. This is in its zone right now. This is in a consolidation zone. Me personally, I have to wait for it to break out this zone. I'm not. I don't care how much it moves in this zone. Like for me, this movement like this, I'm not even interested. I'm not interested at all. I need it to break out of this zone. Now, that's not to say that it's wrong or right because in that zone, Silver Surfer may drop a trade and you may cap out TP1, keep TP2. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with trading in that particular zone, but there's a reason why I want it out of that zone. Because sometimes if you get caught in a zone like this, okay, you can be in a drawdown for a very, very long time. So I want to catch this when there's movement. Now, I still do believe we are going to drop down to the downside a little bit here as well. Let me have a look at I'm going to bring up the news. I'm going to bring up the news on this side.
well, just as you get that up, yeah, you are right though. It obviously has pulled back and is more in a consolidation phase as such as well. The last big drop that we had was the beginning of April, as you can see with that big drop on yours as well, which was the non-farm payroll for beginning of April, and then that following week we caught everything going back up, if you remember.
That's it, exactly. So I'm kind of looking more for a there's not really much going on with news tomorrow. Oh yeah, there is actually. It's more NZD and stuff. Yeah, I would want to see it dropping out tomorrow. I would want to see it selling off tomorrow. The only reason why I said I would like to see the sell off tomorrow, because technically that would have been the primary move here anyway. This would have
Yeah,
been the primary move. Guys, oh, there's something I need to share with you as well. Okay. News does not mean that the trajectory of an actual currency has completely changed. Okay. If you go back, news can jolt, it can jolt the actual currency, but it doesn't necessarily mean it changes the whole direction of the currency. So let me explain. So if you're in a trade and let's say it's moving up nicely like this, okay, news might do this, it might do that, okay, but eventually you will see that that currency, if it was to hit a particular zone up here, it will still make its way to that zone. It might take months, it doesn't matter, it's still going to move itself to that zone, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the people, the entities, the banks, the financial institutions that have liquidity, that have pocketed, let's say, donations or predictions up there, they want that money, guys. They want, listen. If you Goldman Sachs has said, you know what, we are going to put 13,000 lot on a trade, but we can only put 1,000 lot right now, but they've got 13,000 lots still scattered around here. You best believe they're coming for that 13,000 lot, guys. It
mhm.
ain't it ain't gonna just sit there dormant because that's their money, right? So the way trading works with the news is, as you can see here, look, you might have a drop out here, but guys, it still makes its way back up to where it needed to be because there's money, there's liquidity there, and those big guys, they still want their money, right? So I do believe there's news tomorrow, but there's not too much heavy stuff going on. I do believe we're still going to get a little bit of a dropout over here, back down to this green zone. I'm actually so confident I'm going to move this here, okay, and we're going to see if this will play out for us over the next coming week. I don't know what you think, JT. What's your thoughts?
You know what? I had a quick glance at the news as well. I'll say there is the only bit of news that I could really see that could help it to start to for the price to drop is about 7 o'clock on the US dollar. That's the only bit of news I'd say, but that's obviously like later on the day, probably going on to for like leading into Thursday.
Mhm.
Um, but I've been thinking about the exact same thing as you in the exact same zone. So we got to the zone of where you got the bottom of the markup there, where you just moved it over.
Mhm.
That's the price action zone there. The price is either breaking through that point
Mhm.
or it's actually reversing there as well on the
Yeah.
points that you're pointing out now. So I believe it's going to come back down to that point. It's just a matter of the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking along the same lines there.
That's it.
So much so that obviously the last silver trade obviously now has done its thing. It already has
Mhm.
hit TP, so that trade's now complete. So um, people should kind of keep their eyes open on the app and in the groups for another one soon, as well as what might come up on the morning session as well tomorrow, which will be back to
Mhm.
normal tomorrow as well.
That's it. Exactly. Exactly. We'll have a look at BTC very quickly as well. Guys, BTC is very simple. It's a sell-off.
Yes,
BTC is so simple, guys. It's a sell-off. I'm gonna tell you now, I'll be even inclined to think about selling off right now. Um,
that's gonna sell off like Jollof.
yeah, yeah, this is gonna sell off, man. This BTC runs out of steam very quickly and very easy. Okay. I'll be if we don't get a sell-off and we get a breakthrough, fair play, prediction was wrong. And that's another thing, guys. I want you to come to terms with this. Okay. I want you to really come to terms with this. I personally don't care if I get it wrong. I could be on a call with 1 million people, call a trade, and if it does not go in a direction that I've called it, I personally do not care. Because what we are doing here, we are only sending out what we believe is correct for a prediction point of view. Okay. We're not the market. We're not saying, you know what, 100% it's going to do this. No, guys, you have to overcome that fear of getting it wrong. Okay. If you get it wrong, fair play. Don't take the trade. But if you get it right, fair play. Cash out, take your money and chill. Right. But I do believe that this is going to sell off. Now, I'll give you a few reasons to why I believe it's going to sell off first and foremost. One, because BTC does run out of steam very quickly. Okay. Right now, we're at a great high zone in BTC right now. um, unless it goes on a crazy bull run, then that's different, right? But right now, we're not experiencing that at this point in time. Okay, so there's a lot of retesting that's going on, as you can see. Let's in fact let's just make this really simple. Okay, let's just make this really simple. Let's take all of this off. I think that's going to make it easier if we just take all this off. Okay, let's go for right. We're on a 4 hour. Yeah, let's say we make this a little bit bigger. Okay, if you look at BTC right now, okay, you can literally, I'm just going to use lines. You can literally pop lines and you can see there is a lot of retesting going on. Okay, you can see where the market has paused, where it's hit, paused, where it's hit, paused, where it's hit, paused. Okay, you can see a lot of it, right? BTC is not like how it was a few years back, guys. BTC is running now more in line with the financial institutions. It's running because they have so much collective in it now as well. They have so much money in it. Do you understand? So it's moving more like now a kind of like a US 30 kind of pair type. Do you know what I mean? That's how it's moving now. So you can generally tell here, look, okay, we got you could say this, could you call this probably a fake out, came down, retest here now. It's at this zone here. But I do believe we're going to come back down to this zone right here. Um, we're going to come back down to cover off this zone right here. Let me change that as to a consolidation zone. Right, we'll come back right back down to cover off this consolidation zone right here, right here. And then we are looking for a sell-off. It's that simple, guys. This is what I believe we would see, something like this.
I'd agree.
Yeah. And even to the point, if it breaks through that zone, we could see that. Now, as I said, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, okay, we don't take the trade. But if it happens, then your money in. Now, I believe the question that you might want to ask me is, how do we determine whether we do take this trade or not? Okay. This is what I would say. I would say if it breaks this zone right here, if it breaks this zone right here and does a move like this, down, retest, and you see a rejection candle which is a red candle or a blue candle, but with a long wick at the top and a big body at the bottom, then I would jump in the trade. It's that simple. I wouldn't overthink it. I would jump in the trade. But I won't jump in the trade if I do not see the retest. This here is my entry. I will not jump in this trade unless I see the retest. Now, let's say, for instance, this trade, it came right down. It just dropped like that. No retest or anything. Then, hey ho, we missed the trade. That's it. We missed the trade. But I have to see a retest in my trades. I'll give you an example of that. If we look at AUD USD, okay. Look, guys, I have to have a retest in my trades. Okay, this is a good example. So we got the rejection here, came down, green candle, retest, came back down. Okay, I have to see this in my trades because generally it's a rule of trading anyway. Okay, for a mechanical or a fundamental, a mechanical or a um like I can't remember the word I'm looking for now. Um, let's call it a mechanical trader, someone that's looking for support and resistance zones, right? So you want to see that, and you want to see that same thing for BTC as well. Okay. Uh, what's this here? I don't know what that is. Where did this come from?
I really do like that setup you got there, and that looks like quite a good setup.
Oh yeah, same trade. Yeah, I was thinking. I forgot I drew that line there. I was thinking holiday. What the hell is there? Yeah, so we want to see something like that, guys. It's that plain and simple. So this one I'll post in the group if you want to. If but guys, remember what I said last time. I don't want to post my trades like there's signals, okay? I want to post my trades for you to see that what we're saying to you, you can then action it and put it together yourself to then start to understand how the charts work a little bit more in terms of support resistance, indicators, and so on and so on. Yeah, I do believe you should be either an official educator or signal provider in NVU to be able to send out signals. Okay. That's why Silver Surfer is there and so on. These are more educational ideas so that you can go and back test and you can say, let me see what Jay was thinking, or let me see what Silver Surfer was thinking, or even Derek was thinking, and so on and so on. Okay. So I will post in the group as an educational idea that you can kind of follow to see if it does come through. And obviously, if there's any other charts that come up as well, I will post those as well. Let me just see if there's anything in the chat. Okay. So for me, guys, that's it. That's the end of my session. I'm gonna make my sessions a lot about chart work, education, mindset, and really share as much as I can for my own personal journey, so that you know that when you start to hit these brick walls, that you can break through them, right? When you start to hit these brick walls about frustration, or I've just lost some money, I've lost a trade, guys, I want you to look at someone like myself who doesn't have, guys, I don't have a degree in economics or none of this stuff, guys. But what I do have is a determination and a willingness to actually learn this platform, to learn from the greats, learn from NVU, learn from Derek, Silver Surfer, everybody around me, of how I can make my trading journey even better. And now today, currently, I want to share something with you guys. Right now, although we've got that pullback, I've got three trades open, 1,400. Okay, 1,400. Now, there's no one on this call that's going to tell me that trading doesn't work. Okay, there is absolutely nobody on this call that is going to tell me that trading doesn't work. I'm seeing Silver Surfer hit 5-figure days. Okay, you're not going to tell me that trading does not work. Okay, you just need to work it so it then starts to work for you. It's that simple. All right, guys. So look, that's it for me. Um, I don't know if there's anything you want to drop on JT before we close out.
Uh, well, the only thing I'll say is everyone drop some sevens or drop some fives drop some fire emojis in the chat for Jermaine there. Well, honestly, as always, it's always amazing value that you always give as well, and that everyone should take on board what you just said, and it all comes under one thing as well: action. Going back to what you said earlier, it's all about action. Sometimes, as you said, if for the certain things you look for, you just jump in the trade at that point. Sometimes we overthink it at times as well. That's one thing we need to try and do, is not overthink it and overstress it as well. And as Jermaine just said as well, training does work. No one can't say it doesn't work. It does work. Sometimes it is just trying to find the right little tweak just to make it work better for you. But the great thing about these sessions, with what you've seen here as well, sometimes you can, obviously you've probably seen some of my stuff, and take some of Jermaine's, take some of everybody's that you've seen, and sometimes you can kind of integrate it and make it into your own as well. But definitely take on board everything that you've seen today. And also, I'll be doing the Silver Surfer session tomorrow morning, back as normal at 6 a.m. UK time, 1 a.m. EST. So jump on with that as well. And everybody, look forward to seeing you all again for next week's session again. And is there anything else you want to say, bro, before we do close out?
No, I think that's it, man. I think we lit, man. I think everyone's getting that work. Everyone, everyone's getting our work. You know, we want them to be telling us that they've hit this kind of trades. You know what I'm saying? There's enough money for everyone. So we want you to tell us that you've hit 4-figure days, 5-figure days. Do you know what I mean?
That time's going to come for everybody. That time is definitely going to come. It's just
100.
they just need to hurry up and post it. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Well, thank you again, bro. As always, and thanks to everyone that jumped on this session, and we'll see you all again in the charts.